You know we be with it, we off in the hood like some wizards. Nobody ever gave us anything. Meant something from nothing, just like magicians. Gotta relearn everything. Just to remember that I was forgetting. Just to remember that we had a vision. Did it all, don't know how I did it. Time to go start season to go and you know those crystal truths. Let them know we in here, yeah, we in the building. Start season to go and you know those crystal children. Back up in the matrix, yeah, we know the vision. Start season to go and you know those crystal children. Let them know we in here, yeah, we in the building. Start season to go and you know those crystal children. Back up in the matrix, yeah, we know the vision. Off on the mission, you know how it goes. Off in the system, they turn up their nose. They took all the soil, but they didn't know. Through the concrete, you see the ropes. Eyes ain't open, don't mean I ain't woke. Ain't got no cash, don't mean that I'm broke.
Are you ready to awaken, heal, and align with your highest self? I'm Heather Len, founder of Heart Alchemy Wellness.
Okay. But during that process, I became so serious and I lost the touch with my inner child, which is the worst thing you guys can do. Our inner child needs to be nourished and loved and protected.
Wow. Like, if that's not a divine message for us this morning. So the Condor says, you're to a
grow, expand, shift, and evolve. For me, I believe that's what we're here to do. Grow, expand, shift, and evolve. We are, or we have been told for a good portion of our
these memories popping up.
Yeah, it was very uncomfortable for me to tell you guys this because I kept it inside of me for so long and it bothered me.
Good job getting it out, bro.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we're here for, you know. That's what we set these spaces up for, and I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
welcome. Welcome to a new episode. I believe it's episode 54. Can you believe it? Malakio se na kumutayim so sonataki. Maria no an se na kia no de Masia ku a. We are here to deep dive. There are many that have been on a deep dive since they came into this body. They've been deep diving even in the womb. When I said that word deep dive, I got a tickle. My soul and my higher being are playing with me. See, Ra wants us to deep dive into the unknown. And when most of us think of the unknown, we look outside of ourselves and up to the heavens and beyond. And Ra is saying, go inward. Take a deep dive into you. I know it's gonna be uncomfortable. I know it's gonna itch. I know it's gonna you gotta want to bob and weave and duck and run and hear the noises outside and look at your watch and say, "Oh, my TV show is coming on." But all Ra is wanting you to do is take a moment for you. Those things will be there. Ra is not saying not to do them. You came to express. You came to do them. If you want to binge watch TV all day, you came to do that. You came to express. If you want to pick up a guitar and teach yourself to play, you came to do that. If you want to go teach yourself how to dunk a ball in the net, or run and jump a hurdle, or go race a car, or go do exotic dancing, you came to do that. Oh, I know society looks down on some of the things. That's not going to make us money, and that's not going to give us a career, and that's not going to, make us safe, or keep us safe, or make us set for the rest of our lives. Everything you ever touched was meant to be perishable. It was not meant to stay. But you get to go do it anyway. And all Ra is telling you is, I'm going to give you the cheat codes, the cheat sheets, like we did in the 70s and 80s when you were playing your video games and you go online looking for the cheat sheets. I know, my son used to do it. They didn't always work for him, but they gave him a little GPS guidance. And Ra is just saying, hey, we became a 6th density complex. If we did it, you can too. You don't have to, but you can too. So are you ready for episode 54? Are you ready to deep dive into you? You get to take what resonates and leave what doesn't. Nothing Marcus and I say, nothing we read, nothing we share is one size fits all. You get to decide what you're going to take from it, and then you get to grow and expand, shift, and then evolve, and then guess what? You get to wash, rinse, and repeat. I'm ready. Over to you, Marcus.
Sandee Marshall, everybody. Sending Beyond Limitations. What a wonderful co-host, I gotta say. I'm very blessed and grateful. And thank you to all of you that are tuned in and tapped in for this 54th episode of Sending Beyond Limitations, as we continue to dive into and study through our mental alchemy the wonders of the raw material law of one. And for those of you out there, it's not just one book. We're on book 3, and there is 5 altogether. So this journey will be going for a little while, and we'll be going well past the hundreds. So get yourself cozy and grab your snacks and your drinks and whatever else you like to partake in, and enjoy episode 54. And before we begin episode 54 and dive into our study with Ra, I'm just going to take us back to last week on Wednesday for episode 53. So we can kind of refresh our minds a little bit and pick up where we left off.
Yeah, we in the building. Start season to go in, you know those crystal children. Back up in the mix.
It's recalling. Your higher being slowly comes out of a dormant state. And it says, I'm here. But in the body and the mind status, what we might call duality.
Oh boy. Endless opportunities. Let me get that on the big screen for you guys. Endless opportunities. So, there are 3 original primal order sound fields that make up the ray aspects of our entire universal creation.
Move into another consciousness. And as we move up these polarities, we have some that entities that get the chance to shift and merge back with the divine
from a channel from Ra, talking about spirals and partial spirals underneath the pyramids. So that is where we left off on episode 53 last Wednesday. And now here we are in the present, episode 54. And without wasting any more time, I will go ahead and hand it back over to our wonderful co-host, Sandee, as she takes over and opens the channel with Ra.
So, the divine wants me to do a half step back for those coming in. I'm going to listen to the divine. There is always a reason why the divine wants to start in a certain place. I let the divine be my words, and I let my words be the divine's words. We merge. We're part of each other. So let's just listen. The questioner says, what position would be the age reversal position? I am Ra, approximately 5 feet to 10 feet above and below the Queen's chamber, position in ovoid, or, well, hold on. It says ovoid, so that's O-V-I-D. I almost said oval. Shapes in each face of the 4-sided pyramid, extending into the solid shape approximately 1/4 of the way to the Queen's chamber position. In other words, the questioner says, if I just went inside the wall of the pyramid 1/4 of the way, but still remained 3/4 of the way from the center at approximately the level above the base of the Queen's chamber, I would find that position. Ra says, I am Ra. This is approximately so. You must picture the double teardrop extending in both the plane of the pyramid face and in half towards the Queen's chamber, extending above and below it. You may see this as the position where the light has been scooped into the spiral and then is expanding again. This position is what you may call a prana vacuum. Why would this reverse aging? I am Ra. Aging is a function of the effects of various electromagnetic fields upon the electron or electromagnetic fields of the mind, body, spirit complex. In this position, there is no input or disturbance of the fields, nor in any activity within the electromagnetic field complex of the mind, body, spirit complex allowed full away. The vacuum sucks any such disturbance away. Thus, the entity feels nothing and is suspended. Questioner, is the pyramid shape constructed in our yard functioning properly? Is it aligned properly and built properly? I am Ra. It is built within good tolerances, though not perfect. However, this alignment should be as this resting place for maximum efficiency. Questioner, do you mean that one of the base sides should be aligned 20 feet east of north? I'm wrong. That alignment would be I've never seen this word before. Sometimes that's what happens when you start reading. Don't let it deter you. EFFICACIOUS. Effecarious. Okay, we'll have to look that word up. The questioner says, previously you stated that one of the base sides should be aligned with magnetic north. Which is better to, and this is the question, which is better, comma, to align with magnetic north or to align with 20 feet east of the magnetic north? I am wrong. This is at your discretion. The proper alignment for you is of the sphere at this time. I added a word there. The proper alignment for you of this sphere at this time is magnetic north. However, in your query, you ask specifically about a structure which has been used by specific entities who chose energy vortices. And they are the consonant which the take a comma, shall we say, true color green orientation. Oh, see, we're getting back into the chakra colors. This would be the 20 feet east of north. Ra goes on to say, these are advantages to each orientation. The effect is stronger at magnetic north and can be felt more clearly. The energy, though weak, coming from the now distant but soon to be paramount direction is more helpful. The choice is yours. It is the choice between quantity and quality, or wide band and narrow band in meditation. The divine wants you to know it's your choice, whatever you choose. One size just doesn't fit all. You get to choose. And if we take it a little bit further, how you heal yourself through your chakras, how you cleanse your aura through your chakras, whether you're doing it through a spiral, a circle, a triangle, or even if you think that, oh, shoot, I'm stuck in this square and it's not going to let my energy out. You are the creator. No matter how low the polarity is or how high the polarity is, you are the creator, the transformer of your energy. Duality gives you the view of what your aging process is. And how you age is according to you. Imagine all that energy inside you. Imagine going outside with no walls, no barriers, sitting under that favorite tree and tapping in to that infinite energy that you have. Grounding with earth consciousness, tapping in to your 7 chakras, all the way to the soul star chakra, and you healing yourself from sickness, and you stopping aging. So people look at you and say, you're 102, but you look 60. Do you, I mean, I give you that, and maybe you chuckle at it, but Ra says, and the Book of the Divine says, that there are people that are in their hundreds here. And Ra says that there are people in their thousands. There are beings in their thousands, not just people. So think about this. I believe why we started here is we talk so much about aging, and we talk down to people who have, quote unquote, aged out. We were taught that. We were taught that the young are going to save us, so the old got to move over. The United States is the only place that has a place to put your old people. You put them away, so you can't hear the stories of how they lived before. But in any place else in the world, their elderly are the story keepers. Their elderly are the ones that meditate with the divine to be healers. And I'm going to tell you just right now, right here, 3 years ago, when I moved into the colony that I moved into, they call it a artist colony. It was created for 55 and older people who play music and do art, and this is where they came to retire and do their next life. And they didn't move in to stop living. But before I moved here, I did not know that I had an underlying story about age. Oh yeah, Soul Awakening with Sandra. Yeah. Perfect is overrated. We've lived a lot of life before we started having all our awakenings. And I say awakenings because there is a lot of life that you lived based on stories that other people told you. And it's not at fault. You came here to learn that. Your higher being came here to learn about duality, to learn how to maneuver and shift in a physical form. I didn't know I had that story of age. I don't even like people saying old. That's how bad it was. Right? And I'll say, I can use that word bad to me. It might not be bad to someone else, but it's a drop-off point of how I thought about it. So all my daughter was doing was, after COVID, we had to move because the place that we were living in wasn't going to abide by the payment arrangements for us not being able to pay rent due to COVID, due to being laid off and the whole thing. So before she found a place, she wanted to make sure that her mama was set. So she started looking at places that would fit my financial grid, my currency. And when she said, okay, we're gonna go look at this 55 and older, guess where I went? Old age. You're putting me in an old age home where all the old people go. I just lowered my vibration. So when I came to look at this place, when I first looked at it, I was looking at it through fear, uncomfortability that I was being thrown away, that I was going to sit and now be expected to just close my throat chakra and just die. That's the story that was in there that I didn't know was in there. It's about your vibration. wherever you are. You don't have to go to a pyramid, though you can. You have the pyramid in you. So there was some work that I had to do because when I stood in this apartment and I immediately went into a meditation with the divine says, this is home. Do you feel it? And then I had to stand there and work through that dark night of the soul. Yes, I feel it. And then the divine said, you'll know more about why this was chosen. Everything fit. Down to the kitchen sink and the countertops and the bathtub being a soaker tub and actually in the community having a dog run where dogs could go and play together. Do you see what I mean? I began to start seeing it once I got away from that dogma story of old age. And now I know why we started here, because I get to share me as an example. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. But I had to start there. I had to start with my chakras. I didn't know it was going to, at that time I used the word fix me, but now I understand I wasn't broken. I just had to reboot my information. Hello, Olivia, CEO of Cash. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in. So the choice, here we go, that last sentence, it says, the choice is yours. It is the choice between quantity or quality, or wideband or narrowband in meditation. It's your choice. You decide whether you want to reboot yourself. We do it to our computers. We do it to our phones. They have a bandwidth. You decide if you want quality versus quantity. When I was as a single mother raising my kids, it was about quantity. How do I get my children to have a pair of shoes, a pair of tennis shoes, a pair of house shoes? How do I get each of them to have, pajamas and a robe and get the best price for it? It wasn't about the quality of the clothes. But as I grew and started to learn more about the law of attraction back in my 30s when I was raising my kids, I began to understand the vibration. The vibration, yes. I began to understand why I could hear clothes talking to me. Why I would literally, me and my kids, we wouldn't go to the sales rack. We would be pulled to the regular rack. And my kids would go, I want this one. I began to learn about the quality of one and them enjoying what they're wearing vibrationally, to quantity and them not enjoying wearing their clothes. I mean, this goes out from sitting or laying in a pyramid, or laying on your massage table, or being in your prayer room, or being in your room. It goes into actually living life. Whoa, blew my mind. Living life. You actually take your chakras into every area of your life. When you're moving your body, your chakras are coming with you. Before you even enter the room, your energy chakras are that vibrant and massive that they enter a room before you do. And when you get in that room, they follow you up. They haven't even came through the front door of the door of the convention that you just walked into. Blew my mind. Back to you, Marcus.
Wow, beautiful discussion. And I just want to say thank you for being vulnerable and sharing a little about your life story and experiences with us. And there's a lot of value in that I found, for sure. A lot of relatable, everyday human things that we go through. And I really love this topic point because it's something I really talk about a lot, and I teach to my clients and those that I connect with, is the mindset. Where are we using our mindset? How are we using our mindset? And of course, it's a journey to get to the understanding that we are mental warriors of the universe, and that our mental vibrations conduct the symphony of what we experience as our reality. And the more you come into a realization of that, then you can kind of start to take a step back and slow things down a little bit. And within your own mind, start to kind of observe, like, where am I exhausting my mental energy? Or where am I maybe seeing something as something very negative, or something that's kind of confining or trapping me? And with that, remembering that we're not bound to a one finite moment of life, as in, just because we are going through something now doesn't mean it's going to last forever. And just because we see something the way we see it now doesn't mean that our perception will change of that one thing as time goes on. I mean, I can pull out a whole rap sheet of times in my life where I may have viewed something and I didn't really have much knowledge or information about the depths of what it actually was. So then I kind of just had like a subtle judgment, but also a not real understanding of what it was I was connecting with. So with that came many different views, and I'll even admit for myself, quite a bit of those views were skewed and not the actual totality and clarity and the love of what it was in its fullness. And what I noticed was it was according to my own inner vibration of where I was, and how where I was vibrationally, that was mentally shifting the way I was perceiving that thing outside of me. So for instance, we could feel like something is maybe just not good to do, or not going to be healthy to do, but we never experienced it, or we really don't know much about it. And then we may see or hear about other people that have had the other contrasts of experience when it comes to this thing. Went through some life experiences, did some healing work, upgraded a little bit, and my vibration changed. I was able to then perceive that thing differently from a new, fresh state. And I was actually able to have an understanding of what it is and how, and this is kind of like one of the key parts, is how it can be integrated into my life. And that's something I feel like is like really key in the journey, is kind of dissolving that separation of whatever it is that we're studying or looking into, and trying to come from a standpoint inwardly of how do I relate to this, or how can this relate to me in my life? And then with that like for me opens up my mind to then start allowing the information and the depths of why this thing exists in its totality. And then through that, getting the channeling through my higher self and the clarity I need for my own self of, oh, okay, so this is what this is on a mundane level. And now I get to choose on my free will if I want to integrate it in my life or if I just want to discard it. And then I'm not stuck or bound to one way of using it either. I can actually use it in many different ways as time goes on. And it's perfectly fine, and it's expandable and ever changing, just like anything else in this realm. So, it was really, as I like to say, is like getting out of those finite mindsets, destination mindset, as I always call it, where we always see things as destinations, like, all right, I got this event coming up. And then we treat the event like, after this event, there's nothing else in life that exists. And then like this event is the end all be all. And then, life continues. So you can think about the negative polarity too. And this is really great for mental health, for, inner stability, is kind of allowing yourself to play and be creative and have fun inside your mind of like, if you find yourself fixating on something and you catch that, just try to have fun with it. Try to have fun with yourself, not beat yourself up, and just be like, make a joke out of it. Start laughing. Like, what? We're just going to continue on. Like, let's just continue. It's all good. But to finish off with this, I really want to just emphasize mental attachments and just trying not to get too mentally attached to anything in this existence or this world in a way that's going to continue to make you feel depleted or in fear, or kind of make you feel shocked to where you can't like take action and move forward in life. And just try to remember that, it's ever changing and it's expandable, and part of being in this existence and in this reality, this realm, is that it's all ever changing and it's all alchemizing, and one thing is going to change into another form no matter what. And how long that takes, and that just depends on divine time and the mechanics and quantum physics behind what's going on. But at some point, everything changes form. And quite honestly, every moment, things are changing form, including ourselves. Our human bodies change every moment. Like even right now, my human form is different than when we started this podcast because of the things that we just talked about. So when you think about that and you just get into that simplicity that everything is this way in this reality, then you can kind of like start finding a million different reasons why you can let go, because of the reasons such as the examples I just gave. It's like, everything clearly changes because, we were babies at one point and now here we are in these huge bodies and we're just like doing this stuff. And if, we don't think things change, like just think about, how someone could be one way for so many years of their life. And then next thing you know, and you don't have a logical reason why, that person is all of a sudden thinking differently. So the power of miracles, the power of quantum physics is also something that I love studying. And for anybody else out there, it's one of the wonderful things to study to help you kind of expand into that beyond limitation state. Back to you.
All right. The fact that he mentioned quantum at the time that he mentioned it, that was what was going literally through my mind. Get out my mind, Marcus. Okay. I
am your mind.
You are, and I am yours. Right? Did you guys get that? We are the versions of we are the expressions of the divine. So therefore he's a version of me and I'm a version of him. And we're having this interaction together so that the divine can see itself in an interaction. Totally different. We didn't choreograph it in the higher realms. He just said, his higher being said, I'll be there when you need me. And I said, okay, I'll be there when you need me. The collaboration, this collaboration happened organically, yes, but it was meant to happen. Our higher being said, we'll be there. And gave us this beautiful body to be there in. And then gave us free will, which meant, ooh, we're going on a ride in our vehicles. Just look at it this way. I got the Lamborghini of vehicles. I got the Maserati of vehicles. Ooh, when we meet up, we're going to go for a ride, right? And we're riding down this road together, feeling what our vehicles are feeling like. The Lamborghini and the Maserati don't feel the same, but we're experiencing the road. Ooh, that was just a download. It just came in. Okay. But back to the quantum. I made a mention. I was talking to a colleague and she says, you're always talking about bumping up against the quantum. She says, Sandra, I thought and then you would say in another sentence, we are the quantum. And I said, yes. And she said, well, which are we? And I said, both. See, our higher beings and the soul that surrounds our chakras and that surrounds our fingers and our organs and everything, our energy. But our higher being is the quantum flowing in and through it. But our physical being, that I believe, you take what resonates and leave what doesn't. I am not a scientist. So I'm not here to debate you, okay, in the scientist field. But the energy is merging with itself, the higher being and the soul. But our physical form is bumping up against the quantum because the quantum is giving us situations and circumstances to express through. To become a physical expression of the divine. The divine is the quantum. The divine created us in its image. We are the quantum. And we are bumping up against the quantum that is energy becoming what we want it to become in the physical realm. And guess what? That's all Ra is talking about right here. Because Ra told the questioner back in book 1 that the pyramids, you don't need them any longer because you have the power of that pyramid within you. You have your chakras. You're now aware to healing yourself through this portal that's in you. But yet in book 3, the questioner is still asking more about it. Why? I understand why. Because these are questions that you want to know the answers to. When I grew up in the Baptist church, I could not understand why a church was so dedicated to saving souls and getting them to come in the church, but then didn't teach anything else about actually teaching from the Bible how to actually live life. They were dedicated to saving souls. I had to ask my questions. And I was encouraged by my mother to keep asking, even though I made people uncomfortable. So this questioner, no matter how much he asks, we see through Ra that Ra doesn't get uncomfortable. Ra just answers the question the best way Ra can, without usurping or going against our free will as we're listening. So let's get going. The questioner says, when the planetary axis aligns or realigns, will it realign 20 feet east of north to confirm to the green vibration? You know what? The divine has me asking Marcus, when behind the number, when it has the two lines behind the number, is that feet or inches? I think feet is one line behind the number and 2 lines behind the number is inches. Am I correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. Because it's, for example, it's like 6 foot and then the dash and then 2, okay, then double dash.
And then the double dash is inches. Okay, so I have been reading it incorrectly. I've been reading it backwards. So the questioner says, will the planetary axis realign? When it realigns, will it realign 20 inches east of north to confirm the green vibration, green ray? I believe the green ray is the heart ray. And we got Marcus to correct me if I'm incorrect. Okay. Ra says, I am Ra. We fear this shall be the last question, as this entity rapidly increases in distortion towards what you call pain in the body complex. There is every indication that this will occur. We cannot speak on certainties, but are aware that the grosser or less dense materials will be pulled into confirmation with the denser and lighter energies, which give your logos its proceedings through the realm of experience. May we answer any brief queries at this time? And then the questioner says, only if there is anything that we can do to make the instrument more comfortable or to improve the contact. I am Ra. All is well. We are aware that you experience difficulties at this time, but they are not due to your lack of conscientiousness or dedication. I am Ra. I leave you in love and in light of the one infinite creator. Go forth, then, rejoicing in the power and the peace of the one infinite creator, Adonai. The reason why the divine wanted me to read the end of this session 59 is because You don't have to stress your body while you're learning how to heal yourself, or while you're learning how to allow for you to learn what needs to resonate in your body for rest and relaxation, for replenishing and rejuvenating and regenerating, and taking a moment for you. You don't have to do what hurts you in your yoga. You get to take your time. You get to acknowledge and have a conversation with your body when you need to move away from what's stressing you, including your I'm trying, the divine wants me to say the word, where you don't eat and all you do is drink, and then you get lightheaded. And drink meaning drinking juices or go on the water, and the word now comes to me, fast. You don't have to put your body through absorbent changes to fast. Like for me, when I cannot fast because my body automatically goes into the shakes. I have to have a balanced meal. Therefore, I have to find fasting through balanced eating. In what we call the olden days, prior, and what we talk about back, 2,000 years ago, even further back, fasting was not only fasting for food. Fasting was letting go of things that you do automatically, that you put higher than yourself. Money, drink, alcohol, fasting through giving of your it's also called, tithes, giving of, taking a moment to give with what you hold on to. What you hold on to. It could be food, it could be your crops, it could be money, it could be so many other things. It's taking time to let go of that, to surrender it for a moment. But you don't have to do it so that you hurt yourself. I'll give you an example. I'm a single parent. Now I'm not, at this point in my 30s, I'm not in the Baptist church anymore, but I'm in a non-denominational church that insists that you tithe. Another type of fast. As a single parent, they insist that it's 10% of what you make before you start spending money on your children, on your rent, on your car note. And then you're supposed to have an unabiding faith in the God outside of me, that everything is going to be taken care of, even though with your eyes you see that you after you take that tithe away, you're not going to make ends meet, and your children still have to eat. Just like this questioner, that became my question. It became my question that I needed to know, where do these tithes go? It's physical. So if I'm giving it to the church, but I'm not seeing any changes, and I'm not seeing anything that helps me for my highest and greatest good, I have to ask. It's a question. I have to do what's comfortable for me in order to make sure that my children are comfortable and safe. And guess what? I didn't get an answer. It's just that this is what the Bible says. Do it. And have faith. And I just went and said, God, there must be more for me. Many of us have questions about what we tithe for and what we fast for, And how we fast, ask those questions so that you know what is for you and your greater good. Because what one fast works for someone else, it might not work for you. Right? It's about you and your body and what your body is saying. It's about you and your situation or your circumstance, and what your situation or circumstance is wanting you to see. The situation and the circumstance is energy that keeps coming around saying, do you still want this? Do you want to change it? Do you want to transform it? Do you want to surrender it? Do you want to align it? So back to you, Marcus, before we start session 60. Woo.
I gotta say, we have a visitor. And that visitor happens to be connected to that color right back there that I somehow put on my lights today, called green. Here's our visitor. Magnetite, emerald, organite heart chakra crystals, raw rising codes, Egyptian pantheon, Osiris, great divine father, Osiris. Come to me now and help me reconfigure and align my mind, body, spirit complex with the truth of my immortality. Help my perception be realigned with my soul awareness, so I may let go of attachments, judgment, and energies of these lower dimensions that are causing resistance in my divine light. I am allowing myself to be non-judgmental upon other souls and reflections as they walk their path. May my heart be lightened with a feather of mots, with a divine father archetype, virtue, righteousness, compassion, and unconditional love for all souls on their human journeys and other life. Ashe. Ashe. Wow.
Ashe.
The green ray.
Yes.
So for everybody out there, the green ray does connect to the heart chakra. And it also represents unconditional love and balanced healing. When I say balanced healing, it's from the sense of the dimension of our human self, of the balance between our lower emotions and our higher emotions. So when we're activating that heart chakra for healing, we're going to be helping clear out any distortions that could be hindering, resisting, or blocking our current or flow from feeling whole between the upper realms and the lower realms, the heaven and the earth. So the heart chakra is that bridge point for us to feel that whole connection, upper and lower, at once in this human being. So the more we clear that heart center, the more that's stabilized, and we feel that unconditional support from above and below coming from within. So Osiris, a little bit about Osiris. I'm sure you guys have definitely heard of Osiris before, but may have not heard the actual in-depth details of the archetype and what it means. And Osiris, counterpart to Isis, represents the divine masculine in creation. And with that, he represents father energy or the eternal energy. So he is also related to Pluto in Western astrology. Pluto is the planet of rebirth as well as death and transformation. So that is what Osiris also represents, that eternal divine father energy that is so certain, so knowing, so stable through all life, through all experiences, and remembers and knows and embodies that yes, I will go through many deaths and many transformations. In actuality, it's all just continuation of life into the next form. So it's coming into that embodiment, coming into that remembrance that I am that eternal fire. I am that eternal father energy in form. And after this form, I will continue to be that eternal fire of the Father into the next form and into the next. So this also goes into your life currently as an individual in remembering your everyday life experiences, that you'll go through many deaths and rebirths throughout your human life, from a small scale to a large scale every day. But really, in the end, it's not really life and death. It's continuous eternal flow. And it's one transformation to another transformation, and they all blend into the next together. They never actually separate. It's just all continuous rhythms and waves, octaves and shifts. So that's what Osiris is, just that reminder that you're safe, you're guided, you're secure. You're given this eternalness of spirit energy and consciousness of who you are. So no matter what you face, no matter how dark things get, no matter if you feel like you're about to lose your life here on earth, there is life after this life. And that's one of the main things that Osiris represents, is that knowing that there is life after death and that you will continue as a soul into your next missions of life. Back to you.
Ooh. That's what Ra is saying. Osiris, Ra, Isis, the one true creator in many forms.
The law of one.
The law of one. Some people call it the law of oneness. Doesn't matter what label you give it. Like Ra says, we are a expression of the divine seeking. The divine started all of that because it had the passion to seek itself in form. No matter what story we choose to tell how it did it, the divine did it. Did you hear that? No matter what story we choose to tell about how the divine did it, the divine, the one true creator, the matrix, the illusion, the almighty God, no matter what title we give it, did it. And guess what? The divine says, if your story is that you're seeking God outside of yourself, I'll be that for you. Don't let anybody tell you you're wrong until you tell you like it or you don't like the story. They may have a different story and they may only know how to tell their story by telling you you're wrong. But guess what? If you don't receive that information that they've just given out to you, then you're not wrong. You're expressing. That's all Ra and Osiris and Yahweh and Jesus and all the figures that came to share information with us is saying. You came here with the most awesome gift of ever is life on this in this duality and on this planet. You can't get it wrong as far as the divine is concerned. That's why the divine gave you the higher polarities and the lower polarities. That's why the divine gave you feelings and emotions. They're spiritual GPSs. Come on, people. When you get in your car, okay, I'm going to take you back just 20 years, maybe 30. When I used to have to drive, we had maps that were folded up in a little pouch, and we had to pull those maps out and follow the lines from one street to another, right? Physically. And we had to turn the map over to go, because the paper was limited. So you had to turn it over, you had to flip it up, you had to put it at an angle to make everything connect. Now, people, you've got a energetic GPS system in your car. All you got to do is say, and I'm not going to say the name because I don't want my computer to start talking to me, but you know the names that you call it. And you say, tell me how to get here. And it tells you. Well, your ego is a form of a GPS. It tells you how to get to the point where you judge yourself. It knows exactly where to go for that. It knows. How does it know where to go for that? It's because it entered the information for you. Not to hurt you. It's just protecting you. But that information that it entered in is limited. It keeps you in a safe spot. Now, your feelings and your emotions, those are unlimited. You get to feel them. You get to go to where they're showing you were, and then through the emotions of those feelings, you get to decide where you want to go instead. An automatic GPS energy. That's all Ra is telling you. You're packed full of it. You came from the realm of absolute with it. You get to tap into it anytime you want to, or you don't. If you don't choose to go there, guess what? The expression that you are of the divine is, the divine is saying, that's okay, I'll be that for you. You want to be limited? We'll be limited for you. It's you expressing life. Love and light. Pretty lack. So here we go with session 60. The questioner says, when you spoke at the last session of energizing shocks coming from the top of the pyramid, did you mean that these came at intervals rather than steadily? Ooh, what a question. I'm saying, what a question. Did the question raise your vibration? It tingled me. Book 3, I haven't read. I'm reading it with you. So it's tingling me. Ra says, I'm wrong. The energizing shocks come at discrete intervals, but come very, very close together in a properly functioning pyramid shape. In one whose dimensions have gone awry, the energy will not be released with regularity or in quanta, as you may perhaps better understand in our meaning. The questioner says, next statement that I would like to make, or may not be enlightening to me in my investigation of the pyramid energy, but it has occurred to me that the effect of the so-called Bermuda Triangle, ooh, here we go. I knew Bermuda Triangle was going to come up soon, could be possibly due to a large pyramid underneath the waters, which release this third spiral in discrete and varying intervals. Entities or crafts that are in the vicinity may change their space/time continuum in some way. Is this correct? Here we go. Okay, here we go, here we go, here we go. Ra says, I am Ra. Yes. One sentence. Yes. Period. There underneath the waters, mind you, man hasn't explored all of the waters. So the divine and Ra are just tantalizing me, saying, yes, they haven't gone deep enough to find it. And Ra is laughing with me. They're not going to find it. Right? So the questioner then asks, then this third spiral has an energizing effect that, take the comma, if strong enough, take the comma, will actually change the space-time continuum, take the period. Is there a use or value to this type of change? Are you ready, people? I am Ra. In the hands of one of the fifth density or above, this particular energy may be tapped in order to communicate information, comma, love, or light across what you would consider vast distances, but with which this energy may be considered trans-dimensional leaps. Trans-dimensional leaps. Also, there is the possibility of travel using the formation of energy. So energy, like that energy from that pyramid that's deep inside the oceans, the ocean depths, deeper than we've ever went, is causing that energy to take things through a portal. But we not only utilize, we have that energy in us. Yeah, if we've shifted, we're still in this third body form, but if we've shifted from fourth dimensional consciousness and fifth dimensional consciousness, we have access to that energy power. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. You may not be ready for that yet. And guess what? It's okay. Because we're here to learn, teach, learn, shift and evolve, and then wash, rinse, and repeat. Ready for more? The questioner says, would this travel be the instantaneous type used primarily by sixth density entities, or is it a slingshot effect that you are talking about? I know Marcus is eating us up right now. I just know it. It's right up his vibrational alley that he wants you to drive down. Okay? Ra says, I am Ra. The former effect is that of which we speak. You may note that as one learns the, shall we say, understandings and disciplines of the personality, each of these configurations of prana is available to the entity without the aid of shapes. One may view the pyramid at Giza as a metaphysical training, wheels. The pyramids are your training wheels. That's why at book 1, Ross says we don't need them anymore. They're just pretty to look at. Right? Back to you, Marcus.
Wow. That all makes sense. Everything always happens in due time. And it really does make sense now. How humanity is starting to uncover some of the hidden secrets now, so to say. Finding parts under the pyramid, so on and so forth. I wonder almost if it's like we're going to become aware of the fullness of it. And then we're going to start replicating modern versions of the energy source and introduce it into our normal science and into our normal creation process. And then instead of trying so much to go back into the past, we're going to take the past, as in taking the information of the past, and bring it into this modern time and build new devices and new structures that relate to this current time of energy. This is clearly a channel because my ego does not know what it's talking about, but this is coming straight through my heart right now. And it's pretty exciting, actually, to think about the large scaleness of if we become consciously aware of this device or this structure, these Giza pyramids, and what's below, and how it's in fullness used, it's going to open a lot of doors for our science, the way we view life, the way that history has been viewed, and more excitingly, the way that we utilize technology on this planet. Just thinking about it, like, if we have replicated versions of that kind of energy source that has, for what feels like since the beginning of time, I mean, that's opening really big doorways to things that we can create in this time period with similar blueprints. So it's pretty exciting, these unveilings that we're having, but know that there's still more out there, and there's still more for us to learn about the history of this planet, the technologies that have been available, and the technologies that are still available to this day that we just may not have had our conscious awareness of. And I had this really big download last night, and I planned on going live a little bit later to talk about it, but it was just talking about this discovery, quote unquote, that we've had under the pyramid. And something really came through me about, there's many purposes to the pyramids. Depends on what aspect and what part of the pyramid you're talking about. But what came through me was, we're so used to seeing the pyramid itself on top of land. So we thought there was like nothing underneath it. But now we know that there's a lot of stuff underneath it. And then when you think of the structure of it, and you think of simple mathematics and science, if you have this pyramid here on top of the land, and then it's like plotted right there onto the grid point of the earth, And then you create these stabilizing structures under it that then go down to the core of the earth or into maybe the ocean bed or whatever it is. And then you have these coils. The coils help with vortexing the energy. And then what can happen is a two-way street. It's not just a one-way street of, the pyramid is trying to shoot things up. It's also, this is about to be deep too. So it's also directly aligned with different star nations. So then, this is what came through me. This wasn't something I like sat and studied and researched or anything. So then what it's also telling me is that the earth is not just powered and it's not just made of only earth energy. It's powered and it's also made and guided with higher vibrational star planet energies as well, because they're almost like parents to the earth. So it's like we created these pyramids so then they could become stabilized and anchor points and lighthouses right directly underneath the Orion belt, the Sirius star system. And then what that does is it becomes a direct beacon for Sirius to be able to channel its energy through here, down through this, down through the pillars. And then if you know about the pyramids, they're connected through a grid ley lines. All the pyramids around the world, including the South American pyramids, they're all connected to ley lines. Scientifically proven a long time ago. You guys can find many videos about it. So when you think about that, channeling the energies from the stars comes down into this. It then travels and vibrates into the grid. And then that goes and it spreads to the other ones and they power each other. And it's giving the earth its life beyond its self, so to say. So like we're all powered by something outside of ourselves, like whether it's a mom or dad or whatever it is. The earth has parents or grandparents too. And those are the higher vibrational planetary systems and star systems that are in this universe or solar system. So a lot of the things that we're learning here, and wow, this is uncovering so much right now. And like a lot of the things that we see throughout history when it comes to different civilizations, different culture groups, you'll hear about it. A lot of these culture groups and civilizations are directly connected with different stars, different star nations. You hear about the Cherokee Indians. They're connected to the Pleiadians. You hear about, the Dogon tribe in Somali. They're connected to the Sirius star system. And they somehow knew what Sirius looked like, the size of it, how far away it was, back in times where we had no telescopes or any technology like that. And then you hear, again, the pyramids. They're lined up directly with Sirius, Orion. So it's kind of like coming through to me that we have these beacons here on the earth, including our own bodies, in order to channel higher dimensional energies into this realm to sustain it and keep it growing. So that's what I've been getting from these pyramids, is that not only are they generators to generate energy from the earth, but they're also beacons and pillars to channel energies from the stars and other places into the earth. So it's doing both. And the pillars do a two-way thing as well. So it's a two-way system. It's giving and receiving. And I can't give you like even more in-depth details because I think that's more of like a by moment type of thing. There's like more purposes that come by moment that they've used that energy for, so to say. And some of that has to do with astral travel. They had those not coffins, but they had those huge, I guess I'll just call it a coffin for reference, but it's like a coffin-like stone thing that they would create in the pyramids. And this is something you guys can research as well. And basically it'd be big enough for somebody to lay inside of it. And then they would lay inside of it, and then what they said is they would transport their spiritual energy or their consciousness to a different place inside the pyramid, laying inside this stone coffin, so to say. So when you think about that, and you think about how it's a place for, you know, that transferring of spiritual energy, it would make sense that they would use the pyramid, especially back then when it was highly generated, to then go lay in those stone coffins and then astral project themselves and travel. So then what Ra's saying, this is what I'm getting from it, what Ra said is, back then during that time period, humanity wasn't as advanced when it came to the way that their civilizations were living, the way that humans were on their own without the spiritual guides being here on the earth. That's a whole nother thing too, the spiritual guides being here and all that stuff, which is why you see them depicted all over the hieroglyphic walls and all these different beings like Sekhmet and Thoth and all these beings. But what I'm getting at here is that it's almost like due to that time period, you know, humans weren't as self-conscious and aware like we are today because we go through a natural evolution. So back then, the guides kind of like had to be here more presently. And then they created things for us, with us, to help us build technologies and ways to connect with our higher self and with them. And then it seems like as time went on, we started advancing as a human civilization in the way of our self, not just the outside, but the inside. We started advancing with our own self and our capabilities. So then where we're at now presently, you think about it, think about how easily and think about how much we all practice astral projection, just right here in our home, just sitting, and then we can just do it. We just study stuff and then we astral project. So really, you don't need a pyramid in order to astral project in this time period, because you can literally figure out and study how to astral project with your body, and then you can literally go and do it today. So I think that's kind of like what Ra is saying, is like the capabilities of your human mechanism have far exceeded where they were back then. So there's no need to use a pyramid if you can literally just sit there and consciously astral project out of your body. Wow. Okay. Back to you.
Wow. All right.
Ooh.
So we're already at almost 2 hours. So I grew up a sci-fi girl. I grew up a fantasy girl. I grew up knowing about magic, knowing about Godzilla, and all of these things. This energy was just in me. And I would always say, what if? So here's something. If you have, I'm not sure what station it is on for you, whether it's on Prime or Netflix, there is a series. They started it with a 2-hour TV movie. It's called Stargate. Okay? Yes, Stargate. It became a long-running TV show. And the whole thing started because they had this Stargate that had these symbols, and they didn't know what it was, humans or the government, okay, which was the story, the government and energy and the universe and other worlds and other galaxies. Come on, how real does this sound now? And when you look at how the Stargate took them in and and allowed them to travel to other galaxies. And the reason why I'm saying this is because their main character of how these stargates moved was you dialed the number, or they had a character called Ra in a different galaxy that the numbers would dial itself, and then guess what landed on top of that stargate? A pyramid. That's how Ra traveled. And the fact that Marcus said, imagine a coffin that you could move from one place to another, astral project. This coffin, like, you could put a body in there and it could regenerate itself. And that's how Ra would regenerate its human body, because it was a vibrational being from another world. Now, this was, I don't know, let's see, when was this show? 1990s? Maybe? You'd have to look it up. You have to go look it up. Stargate. It was a long-running series.
Yep. It was the 90s or early 2000s.
Right? And it branched off to Stargate Atlantis and Stargate, I think they did Atlantis, SG-1, and they also did one somewhere else. But let me tell you, the writers, the producers were awakened. And guess what? They came to service others so that we would have the ability to recall. Our higher beings would become awakened enough to recall where they came from, that they came from the realm of absolute, that they came from the divine, to express and do exactly this. Whether we do it or not doesn't matter. We have the ability to do they did it and put it on TV as fantasy, sci-fi. I'm quite sure that somebody didn't expect that we'd start waking up and recalling from that. I did. I mean, I know in certain areas, in at least the area of spirituality, I came out of my mother's womb awakened in that portion of my life, because I came out asking questions. But other parts of my life that I was living, I wasn't woke yet. And I use that word woke not in the sense of how other people are using, but I hadn't awakened up. But that was the opportunity to do it. I wasn't awakened in my finances. I wasn't awakened in relationships. I wasn't really truly awakened in being, quote unquote, the perfect mother. But eventually I found out that there's no such thing as perfection, because I am always living, growing, expanding, and evolving, and then wash, rinse, and repeat. No perfection in it for me. But these are the shows that I watch. Go watch Xena, the warrior princess, or Hercules. Find out how many times they talk about energy and how the gods manipulate and how they Xena uses energy, and she can, she's hopping through other people's or allowing other people to hop through her body and become other people. But I will tell you, when you start watching Star Wars and Star Trek and then Stargate and start connecting the dots, you're going to do like I do all the time. Holy shit! The divine has been talking to me all this time. And if I go back to when I was younger, smaller, they had shows like a show called just Sci-Fi. They had a show called Chiller. They had there was a gentleman who played this in let's see, I think it was called Man from U.N.C.L.E. back in the 80s or something. But he was he was called Ilya Kuryakin. I can't remember his real name, but he played in this old version of a sci-fi from Chiller, where he played a alien that got caught in a vibrational grid that old scientists were doing, and he got caught in it. And he was transported into the Earth realm to these scientists. And all he wanted to do was get back. And the scientists, they accidentally did this the hertz. They accidentally did it. They couldn't remember how, because when he came through, their computer in the story, it was broken. So they had to fix it and try to find out what the hertz was so that he could go back home.
Wow.
Right? Now, this is, I don't know, 56. I was born 57. I probably watched it in a rerun, or it might have been first runs, which would be 1960. Come on. They were doing it then. I'm going to say I'm 67 solar returns that all this information has been happening. Holy shit. I close with that.
It's just like they say. It's just like they say.
Right. I close with that.
Gold never tarnishes.
Exactly.
Gold can be covered. Gold can be thrown in dirt. It can be all these different things on the outside. But gold will always be gold. And
just will.
The reason why I'm saying that is because our Christ light within will always be our Christ light within. No matter how low vibrational you are, no matter how high vibrational you are, no matter how many layers you have distorting, no matter how many distractions you may have, your Christ light within is still there and present. It may be a little buried. It may feel like it's a little offline or disconnected, but it's still there. And if we just clear a little bit of those layers and that little bit of dirt that's covering, it shines right through. So, it really goes to tell you about, the divine or the truth or the wholeness of life is that no matter how buried it becomes, no matter how distorted it becomes, it's still always there. Always available to tap into it. It's buried state possible. If you can find the will, if you can find the way, you can tap into that within yourself and activate it through your mind, body, emotion complex. What a way to close out this live. Whew.
What a way.
Wow.
What a way. Dolores Cannon in the 3 Ways, her book, when she takes people back in to their higher being status, because they feel like something's missing. They want to feel what the gap is, right? They have she works with many people, and she does that. And when she takes them back to the part where their higher being has come into their body, she can find out how and why they're here, and what they came to learn, and actually tell individuals, yeah, you went into this portal so we could fix you, so we could change your vibration. We didn't do it to hurt you, though you might have thought that that's what happened, right? She's talked to many of them, and many of the higher beings of these individuals have given expressions of information differently. Why? Because we're unique. But the divine allowed her to, or channeled through her, so that she could write the books, so that you can read it, and then you can take what resonates for you or leave it. Lori Ladd did that. Michael Singer did that. Michael Beckwith did it. Everybody is writing books. Everybody is writing scripts. Everybody is writing lyrics. The divine, through all the portals that that we create, communication portals, is talking to us. Are we listening? That's just a question. That's just a vibratory question for you to answer for you. So, see you next Wednesday, episode 56. Same raw time, same raw channel. Thank you for joining. One love.
Ooh. And as we close out, I just wanted to give a shout out real quick for everybody out there that is into Orgonite and other crystal technologies, as well as EMF. And this pyramid here is from my good brother, Quentin. He is the independent entrepreneur of Golden Sun Oregon. And right here on the screen, you guys can see I have his Etsy for you guys. You can check out Golden Sun Oregon on Etsy. And he really devotes and dedicates his love, his mind, body, spirit to making these. And he uses, physics type of mentality with conscious intention, different crystals and other materials. And he does make customizable ones. He has many very unique and awesome ones. I would pull it up on the screen for you guys, but it kind of gets the internet a little slow. But he puts toroidal fields on the bottom of some, copper tensor rings to amplify. This can also be a charging plate for things like water and other drinks. If you just set it upside down, leave the cup on there, charges it. And yeah, you guys can find many of these on his Etsy, as well as different shapes. He has donuts, pendants, shungite stuff for EMF protection, and much more. But you guys can check him out on Etsy, Golden Sun Oregon. And with that being said, thank you guys for tuning in.
One love.
And Sandee?
Balanced love.
One love to you. And thank you for being here. For everybody else, wholeness and balanced love.
The journey to healing starts with a single step. Are you ready to embrace your true self? Join us on April 27th at the Tranquility Salt Cave in Columbus, Ohio for the New Moon Inner Child Healing Sanctuary, led by Marcus Christolight from Sacred Light Healing and Wellness. This transformative event guides you through inner child wounding education, sacred journaling, and a powerful guided meditation for just $55 from 4 to 6 p.m. EST. As a bonus, immerse yourself in the tranquil environment of the Salt Cave with a 50% discount on a 1-hour halotherapy session. Available for just $20 more from 6 to 7 p.m. EST. Spaces are limited, so don't miss this unique opportunity to reconnect with your authentic self and release emotional baggage. Book your spot now by scanning the QR code or visiting tranquilitysaltcave.com/events. If you have any questions, DM Christolight or call Tranquility at 614-859-3419. Your journey to healing starts here. Embrace the new you under the new moon.
A new moon inner child healing sanctuary, taking place for the first time ever at Tranquility Salt Cave in Columbus, Ohio. Get your ticket today, as spaces are limited. Any questions, just reach out to myself, Marcus Christolight, and I will gladly guide you along the way.